I'm pleased today to be joined by my good colleague, Mike Kelly of Pennsylvania, who partnered with me in helping to draft this legislation and has proven himself to be a fine, marked leader in the Ways and Means Committee.
I thank the gentleman. It's really a pleasure to be with you tonight. And Representative Young's piece of legislation, H.R. 2575, is really something that I think that perhaps if more of us who serve in this body were actually people who experienced what it was like to be in the private sector. I was very fortunate to have a family business, and I can tell you that from an employer standpoint, one of the greatest thrills you have in your life is to sit across the desk from somebody who's come in and applied for a job and to be able to say to them, "You're hired. You're hired. We need you on board. We need you to be part of our team to make the business successful." Now, you can see in their eyes at that moment that they look at this opportunity as, my goodness, now I can put a roof over the head of my family. I can put food on the table. I can put clothes on their back, and I can plan for a future. Now, why in the world would we all of a sudden say, you know what, we're going to change that dynamic because it's no longer going to be a 40-hour week. We're going to dial it back to 30 hours a week. And then you've got to say to yourself, well, how did anybody come up with those numbers? Or why would they come up with those numbers? And what is the benefit of those numbers? The answer is it helps make the Affordable Care Act work. It doesn't help America work. It helps a piece of flawed legislation work. It's about the dynamics of the math. It's not about the dynamics of allowing men and women to go to work and be able to go home at night and say, I went to work today for you. I went to work to make your life better. And you look at some of the numbers, Mr. Young. The 30-hour rule puts 2.6 million workers with a median income of under $30,000 at risk for losing jobs or hours. 89% of these workers impacted by the rule do not have a college degree. 63% of these folks are women, and over half have a high school diploma or less. Now, when I look back in my district, District 3 in Pennsylvania, hard-working, good American people. Now, I have no idea how they're registered. I have no idea how they vote. I have no idea what they think about at night and what they pray for at night before they lay their head in the pillow. But I do know who they are basically because they are all of the same ilk. They are the same people. The blood that courses through their veins is pretty much the same. They believe in America. They believe in paying their fair share. They believe in lifting the load and helping out. Barb Wilson works for the ARC in Mercer County in Pennsylvania. This is a phenomenal organization that assists people with developmental disabilities. Barb is a part-time employee who used to work 30 to 35 hours a week. Her employer recently informed her and her co-workers that all part-time employees will be having their hours cut to around just 20 hours a week because of the Affordable Health Care Act's employer mandate. Barb tells me that she was shocked when she heard this news. And because of her hours being cut, she said she will no longer be able to afford the cost of living. Now, listen, I have more people in my district that come to me and talk to me. One of the things, and I think you found the same thing back in Indiana, Mr. Young, and I'm sure Mr. Barr has in Kentucky. I have people that come up to me and say, you know what? You can use my story, but you can't use my name. Now, that is a very chilling effect to think of that in this country, in the United States of America, that people are afraid to be identified with their story because they're afraid of a retribution from the government. That is just totally unacceptable. One of those people is in the fast food business. How about this? In 2012, 92 of its 993 employees worked more than 30 hours a week. Think about that. Now, all of these employees have had their hours cut to less than 30 hours. On top of that, more than 30 employees have had access to their health insurance plans ended. Even though their plans made sense for them, they did not meet Obamacare standards, and so the company could not afford to keep them. This doesn't make any sense. At a time when we want to get America to work, when we want to increase jobs, why would we make it harder for those people to accomplish those goals? It just doesn't make sense.